I was born in Miami-Jackson Hospital, April 30th, 1982. My family's from Nicaragua. All of them are from Nicaragua, but they're descendants from different countries. My grandmother was Arabic Jewish. Grandfather was Turkish, black, like a mixed culture. They moved to Nicaragua back in like 1900s, where they met in a town called León. My grandfather was from León, and my family came on political asylum due to the fact of what was going on in that country. And then I was born over here. My brother was already born, but most of my family came over during that time because of that crisis of the Civil War that was going on over there. Well, I was in elementary. I was about 7 years old, and I broke my hip playing with my cousin. I was like 9 months on my back. The doctor said I was supposed to be paraplegic because a quarter-inch more and my femoral artery would have been severed. So they had to do surgery, perform surgery. I was on my back for about 9 months and had a tutor, couldn't go to school, had to learn how to walk again. About 6, 7 months of rehabilitation, which is why I walk kind of funny and awkward, but it kind of made me feel vulnerable growing up because I didn't feel I was as strong as I used to be. And it took time to regrow my strength after that. But I learned to adapt. And even at that moment, I learned that, life is not to be taken for granted. When I was younger, like I said, after being 7 and being homeschooled, I think my academic mind began to develop real quickly. I was able to read first grade level when I was like 4 years old. I was a medical magnet student, and after I broke my hip, I wanted to learn nothing but medicine. I felt being if I can, being what I went through, I grew in love with medicine. I wanted to be a doctor. I studied medical magnet for about 8 years, about elementary, middle school, got up to Jackson. But then I started seeing my aunt was living with us and she had cancer. So then that would inspire me even more to try to find ways of cures. And as a human being, try to evaluate life and say, what is medicine, and help people and be humane towards people, because, being what I suffered, I learned to see different. I learned to see people for their needful, their need. People need each other. We need to hold each other's hands. Sometimes you don't know who's going through what. So then seeing my aunt die slowly of cancer and not being able to help her, or not be economically set to help her, going to the hospital in Jackson, seeing her hair fall out through chemo, and 5, 6 of us living in one house. No father. All these things took effect on my mind. And as I got older and I went to high school, she passed away, and it was just my grandmother. Now it was just 4 of us in the house. My brother went to the military. So growing up, all I ever wanted to do was join the military after that, because it was like, medicine failed me as a person. Like, medicine can't really save everyone. That's what I began to think. And I said, man, that's when I became more aggressive. I didn't have a father. Didn't have anyone to guide me, to be honest with you. My brother left. That was my older brother. It was just my mother, my grandmother, and me. And at that moment in time, I felt like I had to raise myself. And in that environment where I live at, it wasn't too good to try to raise yourself. Then I started indulging in certain things that were not even good to speak of at this moment, to be honest with you. But I still was able to graduate, and I thank Jesus for that. I still remained focused. But at the age of 19, I got arrested. I was supposed to join the Marines. I was in college. My financial aid was late, and I guess I lost faith. And even before then, I began to question life itself. I had so much aggression. Then I got arrested, and as I sat in jail, I still remember the cell was 2B1. And there was a man named Mr. Levaniel Hicks, and something drew me to him. Now I know it was Jesus. And as I sat there in jail, wondering what's going to happen with my future that I just flushed down the toilet, he began to speak Jesus to me. He began to speak his resurrection, his crucifixion. That's all he would preach, was crucifixion and Jesus and Jesus. And I began to read the Bible. And to be honest with you, I read the Bible before, but not the way he was expounding it. And at that very deepest, darkest moment of my life, I began to realize where everything was leading to was this ultimate enlightenment of who Jesus Christ was, that he was God, that he was God in the flesh. And at the moment that I realized that, Mr. Levander told me, now you're ready. And I didn't comprehend what he was telling me until we began to pray and hold hands. And we got grown men in jail, and everybody's calling you a jailhouse preacher, and now you want to seek Jesus because you're in jail. But in my deepest, darkest moment, that's when he spoke to me. Brother Chris had already invited me, and I was already looking for a church home on my way out from work release. And when I saw that manifestation of men bending over, just receiving the Holy Ghost, such fire, such power, I already knew. And I prayed, like I said, I fasted for 3 days, seeking where I must go, because, like I said, I got out the first time and I went to a Baptist church. And the Lord sent me there, but this time I knew it was something different. I knew I couldn't get in trouble, and I could not continue to get in trouble anymore. And I've been here ever since. The Lord led me here. The Lord continues to lead me here. And every time I walk to the altar, within these 6 years, I always had someone hold my hand, someone pray over me. You know, brothers in love come surround me. And you know, I don't say a lot of stories of the things that I go through, but I go through it a lot within my mind, within my spirit, you know, within my past, within my own self, within my failures, within my triumphs. I go through things, but this church has always, the brotherhood and the sisterhood, the love of Jesus Christ does flow through this church. Pastor Stewart, Sister Stewart, elders of the church, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for me, for every prayer, every fasting. Every time I talk to Pastor and I ask him to pray for me or my family members, you know, it's been miracles after miracles. I've had family members come out of nursing home. I'm a convicted felon, yet I have a great job. I thank you, Sister Stewart, for being like a mother to me, always speaking to me. You know, just love itself. I thank you for that. You know, I'm getting kind of emotional, but just the way the Lord gives it to me. I thank you. Thank you very much.